seconds. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the International Week 2021. Our program will commence in 15 minutes. Before we begin, can we please ask you to mute your microphones because we want to prevent any background noise. Thank you so much. Now, while waiting for this program to commence, we'll like to present a few short videos for your viewing pleasure.
When I read about you in TV, I searched on Google to read more about UNT. I looked the university as one of the universities which has institute for research and improve the students.
Alright, so first, a wonderful place to study. My experience here has been amazing. I met a lot of people from all over Malaysia.
Hello, my name is Amanda and I'm a Tropamundo student here at UNT and I've had an amazing experience here.
So Terengganu is blessed with some pretty spectacular scenery, surrounded by pulau as well as islands.
I am Ali Umar Muhammad, a PhD student in Applied Linguistics. I am from Nigeria and I am Hausa by native. So definitely when I came here to Terengganu, so I found the place is a very good and peaceful place. And even the people of Terengganu, many of them are accommodating because I stayed almost 5 months in the university, in the campus. So sometimes I do interact with the Malaysians.
Selamat datang ke UNT.
أهلا وسهلا بكم في جامعة
Welcome to UNT.
Barka da zuwa UNT, University Malaysia Terengganu. Ina yi muku barka da zuwa.
UNT.
UMT.
So,
Hello and good afternoon. Professor Datuk T.S. Dr. Ahmad Fauzi bin Ismail, Chair of the Asia Technological University Network and Vice Chancellor of University Technology Malaysia. Professor Datuk T.S. Dr. Wahid bin Razali, Deputy Chair of the Asia Technological University Network and Vice Chancellor of the University Tun Hussein On Malaysia. Professor Dr. Mazlan Abdul Ghaffar, Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Terengganu, Malaysia. Professor Dr. Dayang Hajar Zorah binti Haji Sulaiman, Vice Chancellor of University Technology Brunei. Professor Dr. Insinyur Muhammad Ashari, Rector of Institute Technology 10 November, Indonesia. Professor T.S. Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic and International Affairs of University Malaysia Terengganu. Distinguished keynote and workshop speakers, delegates of Asia Technological University Network, staff and students who are here with us right now live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Zoom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Staff Week 2021. This is a momentous occasion for all of us, for despite the current pandemic that has caused so many interruptions to important discussions such as this, we are nonetheless able to gather together in the spirit of cooperation and fraternity. Our theme for this year's program is staff and student mobility. Without further ado, I would like to invite the Honorable Vice Chancellor of UMT, Professor Dr. Mazlan bin Abdul Ghaffar, to say a few words of welcome. Professor?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you to Honorable Chairperson, Madam, my distinguished guests, Prof. Datuk T.S. Dr. Ahmad Fauzi bin Ismail, Chairperson Asia Technological University Network, Vice Chancellor University Technology Malaysia, Prof. Datuk T.S. Dr. Wahid bin Rasali, Deputy Chair, Asia Technological University Network, Vice Chancellor University Tun Hussein On Malaysia, Prof. Dr. Dayang Hajah Zohrah binti Haji Sulaiman, Vice Chancellor of University Technology Brunei, Prof. Dr. I.R. Muhammad Ashari, Rector of Institute Teknologi 10 November, Indonesia, my colleague Prof. T.S. Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International of University Malaysia Terengganu, my distinguished keynote and workshop speakers, delegates of Asia Technological University Network, staff and students who are here with us today on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Zoom. Okay. It gives me a great pleasure to give you all a very warm welcome on behalf of University Malaysia Terengganu and to say how grateful we are to have you to join these programs. I would like to express my aspiration to Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Faisal bin Muhammad Ayub, Prof. T.S. Dr. Lam Su Siong, and UMT ITU Next Secretariat Team, UMT International Center, and our distinguished partner universities for coordinating and organizing this program today, providing a platform to promote international mobility program between UMT and our partner universities, especially in the niche of marine science. Ladies and gentlemen, through the mobility program, we can learn more about the international values and aspiration of ethics and spirituality, leadership, university of tradition, access to great experiential learning and unity. From 2015 to 2021, the total number of UMT students participating in mobility program, including outbound and inbound, have achieved almost 4,500 students. This number reflects the strong desire by UMT to gain international networking with other universities abroad. Despite the global uncertainties, universities need to have and maintain strong international networking and mobility activities. And our university is very supportive of receiving students from overseas as well as sending our students abroad for these mobility programs. We have been able to maintain good participation and also organizing international events during this pandemic era. And in this challenging time, the International Center of UMT continues the effort of supporting, encouraging, and engaging with the faculties to organize, participate in many programs via online method. Such programs encourage our students to go in group or individual to participate in international industrial attachment and presenting in symposium. Through this active collaboration, our university maintain great relationship with the partners universities of various countries in Bangladesh, Korea, Thailand, Indonesia, Brunei, Australia, Japan, United Kingdom, United States, France, Belgium, and many more. Due to our strong presence in international participation, university shall be able to create a stronger network for students, exchange with also additional funding and support from Ministry of Higher Education and our ASEAN partners. I would not want to stress my speech today as we are looking forward to know more about the contents of workshop from our university and partner universities. I would like to thank everybody involved in the execution of International Staff Week today, and I pray that everything planned for this program will run as smoothly as possible. Also, I would like to extend my greatest appreciation to the organizing committee of ATU NET, technical team, and everybody involved in the work and contribution to the success of this program. Thank you very much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall now take a few moments to capture a snapshot of this historic occasion by taking a group photograph as a souvenir for you all. So if you'd be so kind as to turn on your webcam so that we can take a photo, we'd be so very much obliged. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as there's so many of us here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to count from 1 to 20 because that's how long it's going to take to capture a photograph of all of you. Okay, so don't forget to smile and don't forget to say cheese. Now, I want you to count with me, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Am I going too fast? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 19 and a half, 19 and 3/4, 19 and 7/8. Are we ready? 20. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so now I'm pleased to turn the microphone to Professor Dr. Lam Soo Hyung, who will be your moderator for the keynote address. Professor?
Thank you very much, Ms. Shaizani. First of all, it is a great pleasure to have all the honorable professors, speakers, delegates of ATU.net, and students on Facebook, YouTube, and Zoom to join the International Staff Week 2021. My name is Lam, and it's an honor to be the moderator for the first keynote session today. Please allow me to introduce our first keynote speaker today, Professor T.S. Dr. Muhammad Zamri Ibrahim, who is also a very prominent, yet a very down-to-earth and friendly professor in UMT. Prof. Zamri is also currently acting as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the Academic and International Division of UMT. We are honored to have Prof. Zamri to deliver a keynote speech on experience from UMT in education for sustainable development through e-learning in higher education. Please allow me to give a brief introduction of Prof. Zamri before we proceed further. Prof. Zamri holds a PhD in Renewable Hydrogen Energy Production Systems from the National University of Malaysia, UKM, and is currently a professor and the Deputy Vice Chancellor focusing on academic and international affairs of UMT. He has vast experience and contributions to academic and education development via his leadership and many appointments such as Director of Tati University College, the Dean of Faculty of Ocean Engineering Technology and Informatics of UMT, and also the Director of Central Laboratory. He is also a prominent figure and mentor in research and development, currently acting as the head of research cluster in technology, marine engineering, and science. He is also a well-known expert in renewable energy systems and resources involving wind, solar, wave, ocean current, and also hydrogen energy, being one of the hot research areas nowadays. Without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Prof. Zamri to give his speech and share his inputs with us today. The floor is yours now, Prof. Zamri. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon. Thank you, Prof. Lam, for this brief introduction, background of me. Right. Distinguished guests, distinguished speakers, distinguished keynote and workshop speakers, delegates of Asia Technological University Network, staff, and students who are here with us today on Facebook, YouTube, as well as Zoom. My talk today will be on the title of Education for Sustainable Development through E-Learning in Higher Education, Experiences from University Malaysia Terengganu, UMT. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me as a keynote for this session. As we know today, we are facing with the difficulty of pandemic COVID-19. So we have to move forward by looking for a new method of teaching and learning, particularly at a higher education institution. As we know, this concept is really well known nowadays as we move forward from teaching world. The one of we call is a blended learning. This is one of the much faster method that we use in our university nowadays, right? So I would like to share with all the audience how University Malaysia Terengganu transform from the conventional teaching method to the e-learning method with the well-planned from years to years. So the one thing is I would like to stress out here is how University Malaysia Terengganu developed the blended learning till today. We are fully use of e-learning, how to deliver to the student through the PDP online. As today, this is a very crucial method that we have to follow. Right. Based on this, what we call the 10 leap, 10 leaps of the Malaysian higher education plan. So this is very important for us because University Malaysia Terengganu actually work out based on these leaps, which is we call here is leap 9, or we call is a shift 9, whereby in this shift actually it consists of a few domain. For example, here we have dasar e-pembelajaran negara, or we call here as e-learning policy, national e-policy learning for Malaysia. We have 6 domain. We call as infrastructure and infrastructure, for example. Under this infrastructure and infrastructure, we should have internet, Wi-Fi coverage, e-learning platform, ICT equipment, and software. Number 2 is the governance. So we have to have a very good governance in order to implement this e-learning system in university. Number 3 is online pedagogy. This also is very important, how actually we can deliver to our students through the system that we have. E-content, professional development, and last one is cultivation. So these 6 domains under the national e-learning policy for Malaysia. On top of that, we also are focusing on the pedagogy based on the SDG, Sustainable Goal Development. So if you look at on this, under the SDG number 4 is quality education as well as IR 4.0. So this is under SDG. Actually, one of the key that we are focusing here is how we can implement the blended learning support, BLS, particularly in University Malaysia Terengganu. Right. Based on the Malaysian education e-learning policy, actually we have a 3 phase that we have to go through. Phase 1, 2015, actually we have to have at least 30% of all courses offered by the IPT. 5% e-assessment should be implemented in the blended learning. 3 courses must be offered openly mode, massive open course by higher education institution. Phase 2, 2016 to 2020, at least 50% of all courses offered by each IPT must be conducted in the form of a blended learning. 10% assessment should be implemented in blended learning, and 15 courses should be offered openly by higher education institution. And then lastly, phase 3, between 2021 up to 2025, should have 70% of courses offered by each IPT must be conducted in the form of blended learning. 15% e-assessment should be implemented in the blended learning, and 30 courses must be offered openly by higher education institution. Okay, I would like to share, based on this national e-learning policy, UMT actually started to develop learning management system at University of Malaysia Terengganu, or we call as LMS, right? As we know, under this LMS, actually we have a few items that we have to focus on. Among of them, we have to focus on the administration, the documentation, tracking, reporting, right? Delivery of educational courses, so on and so forth. So that is the main thing which University of Malaysia Terengganu focus through, I think started from 2019, something like that, yeah? But right, how LMS work, yeah? So in order to LMS work, so we have to have a few items under this LMS. For example, we should have, of course, the participant, which consists of teachers, students, organization of the higher education. Input, of course, from these lecturers. We should have materials can be stored, organized, assessment can be given to our students. Requirement, of course, we have to have a very good facilities in terms of the internet facilities, delivered learning via a computer, tablet, a smartphone, right? Processes using this LMS platform, such as Moodles, Blackboard, Decibel, etc., etc. So this is how University of Malaysia started on this e-learning at our university. If I can share of this experience from University of Malaysia Terengganu, actually we started 2009. We developed a black box system. Through this black box system, actually we use a one-shell product, a licensed product, very highly cost, yearly subscription, developed by vendor. But now we shift 2011 to Lentra. We use this open source system, use the internet expertise for module development and maintain purpose. And of course, 2022, and for now, we are concentrate on this developing dashboard for reporting, dashboard for MOOC, micro-credential, so on and so forth. So this is how actually we develop the e-learning in our university. Right. So based on that, we develop e-learning platform. For example, Lentra at University of Malaysia Terengganu. So a student can browse through this platform. For example, we have here is Oceania. Oceania is for the undergrad students, for example. So all the undergraduate, we use the e-learning through this platform, Oceania. So we have Wadi. Wadi is a focus for the student from diploma or foundation. We have also is Oasis, for example. So this one's for postgraduate students as well as our staff. We use this platform. So we have so many platforms for this e-learning in order to help a student through this difficulty time. Right. Again, so this one is, as I mentioned just now, we have a few platforms, Oceania, Oasis, Bicara. Bicara is actually a platform which we developed for a web conference, right? We have a Wadi, a platform for the diploma, just now I mentioned, right? On top of that, this is one of the example activities and assessment on LMS, right? So we have a course analysis, e-book, assessment, yeah, through the quiz test, okay, and activities, a forum discussion, a web conference, yeah, WebEx, and others, blended learning and others, right? So this is how we use the platform, practice with our students. In order to support this platform, actually we also have services available 24 hours. We have a telephone operator. We have an e-learning assistant. We call it ELA. We also have an e-ticket. So those support service available if our user, our student having a problem, so they can contact this service available, how this service available can help them through the e-learning platform. Right, this is one other example. Since we have already developed this blended learning through this, I think, since 2014, if you look at here, semester 1, 2014, up to phase 3, we have semester 1, 2020, 2021. Yeah? So actually, we are targeting that every semester, our courses, 100%, will be implemented in the blended learning. So far, I think at the moment, we are almost every semester, we can have 100% of the achievement of the blended learning. Yeah? Right, so this is how we measure either the lecturer already completed of the blended learning exercise. So we have here a syllabus, no activity assessment, so on and so forth. So all the lecturer have to follow this step in order to fulfill this more blended status. Okay, so this one is actually one of our achievement of the blended learning. It's in form of the infographic. So we can see as we move on, we actually increasing the percentage of the blended learning from year to year. Okay, once again, so this is a result of the student when we compare face-to-face learning and as a e-learning right now. So we can see the result of the student from years to years, it's become better and better. It looks increasing in terms of these CGPAs and so on and so forth. Okay. Right, some of a few things that I would like to emphasize here. Till now, actually, based on the e-policy, national e-policy, UMT at the moment, actually, on the phase 1, 2015, UMT has achieved 54.59% of this blended learning. Yeah? Phase 2, we achieved 93.03%, and phase 3 we already achieved 96.56%, which is 70% of against the national policy. Yeah? At the beginning of the phase 3, 2021 to 2025, actually we already achieved 96.56, fully online, because of this COVID-19 pandemic. So this perhaps one of the factors that we can speed up the process of the e-learning. Right? Structure, framework, and policy needed. IT literacy not that important as long as educators and students willing to learn and use it. So this is how some of point that I can share how UMT use this blended learning through this COVID-19 pandemic. Apart from that, actually, University Malaysia Terengganu also focus on how to develop the ODL, we call Open Distance Learning, UMT mode, micro-credential courses. So now we are developing this platform in order we can achieve the target more and more to use this method in PDP online. So this is one of the example UMT MOOC, the platform that we developed in our campus, in our university. This one of the virtual collaboration mobility programs under the e-learning. So we have a virtual Asia exploration, through course, UPME. So this is one of the advantage of e-learning that we use today. So actually we can connect with the other university outside of Malaysia as we have today. All right, lastly, I would like to highlight here, is learning online as effective? So the one thing here, those who do have access to the right technology, evident that learning online can be more effective in a number of ways. Research show an average a student retain more material when learning online, 25 to 60%, 8 to 10% in classroom, respectively. So we can say that through the e-learning, a student can get more and more materials. Why? Student being able to learn faster online, because if you can say here, e-learning requires 40 to 60% less time to learn than in a traditional classroom, as they can learn at their own pace, going back and reading, rereading, skipping, and accelerating through concept as they choose. Okay. On the other hand, the effectiveness of online learning varies among age groups. The general consensus on children, especially younger ones, is that the structured environment is required because kids are more easily distracted. So I come to the conclusion, what actually we have achieved in our university. So at the moment, based on the National E-Policy 2.0, has actually helped the higher education international in Malaysia to plan and organize the teaching and learning online. Since blended learning has been a focus, so University Malaysia Terengganu has achieved the target as follows. Phase 1, 2015, we have already achieved 59, phase 2, 93, and phase 3, 96.56%. In terms of the social implication, guide individual learning experience, give an ample time for academic staff to arrange activities and give feedback to students. Of course, sometimes we also have a limitation in e-learning. So if we look at on this, maybe due to the internet coverage in a certain area, student or lecturers, gadgets, for example, owned by students and educators also, they have a limitation on this particular device. And originality, value, lecturers versus students, discussion can take place anytime. So this is how advantage of e-learning concept. I think that's all from the experience that we had in our university, University Malaysia Terengganu. With that, I would like to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amri, for giving an excellent and enlightening speech. We will now proceed to the Q&A session with the floor. To the participants, please feel free to unmute yourself to ask any questions if you like. In the meantime, let me check if there are any questions posted in the chat box. Yes, Prof, there's one question, Prof Zam. What are the next steps to drive e-learning towards supporting and developing higher education? If Prof Zam may answer. Thank you, Prof Zam.
Okay, thank you, Prof Lan, for the question. All right, in our university nowadays, we are strengthening the platform for execute others. Instead of blended learning, we also focusing on the MOOC. We also focusing on the micro credential, and also for the open distance learning. So these are three platform or three methods now in our university. We are strengthened so that we can execute as soon as possible for all the program that we offered at our university. Thank you, Prof Lam.
Thank you, Prof Zam. If I may ask another questions, Prof Zam.
Yeah, sure.
Given the current pandemic situation, how do you foresee e-learning can facilitate staff and student mobility? Thank you, Prof Zam.
Right.
How do you foresee e-learning can really help on staff and student mobility?
I believe through this e-learning, actually, it will help a lot to staff as well as students. But the one thing that we have to have a very good facilities. We have to have a very good in terms of the facilities such as internet, a platform that we develop so that everybody can use without further problems. So I believe with this development nowadays, of course, through this kind of platform like we have today, like this International Staff Week 2021, this is a very good exercise that we conducted today. I believe it actually will help staff and students directly and as well as indirectly. So that is my view or my opinion, Prof Lam.
Thank you very much, Prof Zam. I think let me just check again if there is any more questions in the chat box, Prof Zam. I think that's all. So I think that's all for this keynote sessions. And thanks a lot again to Prof Zam, Samri, for your
All right,
time.
thank you, Prof Lam.
And also response to the questions. With this, I conclude these keynote sessions, and I kindly pass the session back to Ms. Chaizani. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Zamri Ibrahim, for that illuminating keynote address. On behalf of the organizing committee, please accept this certificate as a token of our appreciation. We also thank Professor Dr. Lam for moderating the session. Next, we'd also like to present a certificate of appreciation to University Malaysia Terengganu, which will be accepted by the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Mazlan bin Abdul Ghaffar. Thank you, gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, that also concludes our FB Live broadcast. We shall now move on to the next session in our program, which is a workshop on mobility for staff and students, to be conducted by Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Faisal bin Muhammad Ayub, the Director of UMT's International Center. Over to you, Professor.